Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Got a Malibu here today. Not a diagnostic video, but simply needs a catalytic converter. Common issue on these guys. The primary cat always goes bad, melts. So we got a aftermarket cat here. We're gonna jam it up in there. Shouldn't be too bad of a job. It's usually pretty simple. Start off with removing our hush cover here, and we'll be able to get right down there to that cat. Typically on these motors, I like to promote the fact that we replace both oxygen sensors. There's an oxygen sensor that goes directly in the manifold right above the cat that usually gets the brunt of the melting. We'll go ahead and replace that one first and foremost, and then there's a after cat oxygen sensor that I usually just replace just because we're already there. There's no point in trying to remove the old oxygen sensor. They're cheap enough nowadays, you know, just go ahead and replace it all at once. So it's really quite easy job. So, you know, quick video, but trying to make more automotive videos so that way I can try to grow the channel a little bit. But I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this panel. Yeah, this cover's super simple to get off. There's an 8mm hose clamp that wraps around this rubber that interfaces with the top cover there, and this breather hose and another 8mm hose clamp right here. Pull those three things off, pull your oil cap off, and then take the corner of it and pry up. Comes right off. It's just held on these little dowels here where there's a ball at the top and it interfaces with a piece of rubber. Nothing crazy. There's the heat shield, and the cat's going to be directly underneath of it. There are 3 10mm bolts that hold this heat shield on. One's going to be right there, another one's going to be right there, and another one is over there in that corner. And it helps to have it about 10 million degrees so that way it burns your hands the whole time you're doing it. So you're going to want to make sure it's plenty hot. But anyways, there's the oxygen sensor, upstream oxygen sensor. The downstream oxygen sensor is down there. I'll show you in a minute. The wires go over here, and on this particular one, somebody's already been here, and it's all loosey-goosey down there. Let's see if I can't get a better shot. Some light over here, up in here. And so there are blue locking connector locks right there, and you'll see it's just floating around. That's not normal, but you know, there's nothing you can do about that. But enhance, there you go, focus. So this blue locking tab right here, you pull that out and then you disconnect the connector by flipping this tab up and pulling. Nothing crazy. So we'll go ahead and get this heat shield off and get this disconnected, and then my habit is to chop this wire off of the oxygen sensor so that way I could fit a open-ended wrench on it. Use the closed-ended of the open-end wrench, 22mm or 7/8, and get a longer one so that way you have the leverage to get it out, and then just work it out that way. But I'm gonna get these heat shield bolts off so we get this heat shield out of the way, and then we'll start tackling the oxygen sensor. Alright, so I got the heat shield off. I clipped the wires for the oxygen sensor, just like so. We're not gonna be reusing it. And this is what I meant about the melting. See how it's deformed? Now this is relatively not bad compared to some of the ones I've seen where they've all been blown out all around. But you know, this is the reason why we replaced the oxygen sensors, is because that. You see how this form that is? That's a direct result of that catalytic converter failing. So just do yourself a favor, replace the oxygen sensors, so everything will be fine. take the cover off. There are three of these nuts that are going to these studs that are supposed to stay in the catalytic converter, but it's okay, you know, you count your blessings if it comes out as a stud, a whole stud, or if it comes out as just a nut, it's fine. In this case, the new cat didn't come with new studs, so this actually worked out really well for me. I didn't have to extract these studs out of it. I'm not going to worry about trying to take the nuts off the stud. I'm just going to reinstall the stud on the cat when I get it in position. But there are three of these, and they're right on top. Nothing crazy. So now we're all done with the up top stuff. Let's go down below. Alright, so here's the other oxygen sensor. There's a better view of that blue clip. Focus. There you go. There's a better view of that blue clip that I was talking about. You simply just pull it out of the connector and then you snap down that part right there and pull the connector out. It's very simple. This oxygen sensor you don't have to worry about fiddling with because the new one, we're just going to install the new oxygen sensor in, so you can just leave this one right alone. That's how I do it. The new aftermarket cat does not come with this nut built into the bracket. That's why in your bag of parts that you'll find with your new cat, it'll have a random nut in there. So you'll reuse this bolt, but that nut will stay behind with the original cat. These are the two bolts I was talking about going into the flex pipe right here. Now these ones are looking a little pissed off. So I'm not exactly sure they're going to come out in one piece, but we'll try. I think on this one it's going to be more or less heated up and blow it off. But we'll try to do it conventionally. But yeah, I'm going to work on that and then I'll get back to you in a second. Alright, we got the cat out of there. There's a nice open hole up there. There's them two nasty looking bolts. I'm not going to do anything with them right now. And yes, I know they're not looking so happy, but this flex pipe is bad. So the customer is going to come back for the flex pipe. They can't afford it right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to reuse what we have here. Thankfully the new cat comes with new hardware. So we could put new nuts on these and everything should be good to go. It's always my habit to put a little super glue where the ring falls in, the ceiling ring, so that way to hold the ring in place. Last thing you want is that thing to pop out and be halfway on there. You tighten it down, you crush the ring, you break it, and then you're screwed. But aftermarket units usually look like this, and that's what I was talking about with that nut not being there. On this bracket that bolts to the engine, it's just a bracket, whereas with this one, there's a nut right there. That bolt goes through and fastens to that nut. That's why they provide you with a new nut. Alright, so got the new cat back up in there again. Slathered that up with red RTV, so try to seal up this rusty, nasty flex pipe here. I slid the bolt back through right here, but I did not put the nut back on it yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up top here and I'm going to get everything started up there. Get it tightened down up there first and then come back down here again and tighten everything else down. You don't want to tighten everything up down here and then have to fight it up there. So go up there, put the studs and the bolts back in again, and then come back down and we'll finish it up down here. Alright, we got everything back together again. And tighten up the three studs, I'm sorry, and reconnected the oxygen sensor. So now we'll go down underneath. We'll put the lower downstream oxygen sensor in, and then we'll tighten up the two flex pipe bolts and tighten up the main primary bolt that holds the catalytic converter to the engine to verify that the cat is working with the scan tool. And then we're done. There's not really a whole lot to do with this job, but yeah, video for today. Not a very long one, but it's a common issue on these GM 2.4 liters found across the Cobalt, Malibu, Equinox. I'm sure the list goes on. It's 3 that come to mind real quick. But thanks for watching.